Studio 24 is a deeply personal journey exploring settler attitudes towards First Nations people. The totality of this exploration as a designer and Australian citizen is extensive. Seemingly unrelated ideas are exposed and united. I joyfully and hopefully respectfully explore possible architectural gestures by settlers and immigrants on a country we lovingly call Australia. The Institute for Aboriginal Development once offered this diagram as a means for non-Aboriginals to begin comprehending the intricacies and connectedness of Dreamtime understanding. But our settler habit of comparing, objectifying, containerizing, capitalizing all causes a recurring and violent descent into a metaphysical terror, when in fact the vastness and beauty of the idea is perhaps simply best described as life. To counter the terror, we fall back on old habits. Comparing the studio's namesake camp with park, a recurring typology on our large study area, and calling on those old public versus private containers, I think of what we like to do in an urban park and on a camping holiday. The activities are the same, but in both park and camp, toilets are questionable, and many people are disgusted by going without a wash for a few days. An investigation into the history of bathing focuses my own European ancestry. All cultures have a history of hygiene and cleanliness of whatever definition. It is not my place to analyse or present these aspects of First Nations people's culture. My ancestry is English, Hungarian and Germanic. Bathing practices in these countries were shared social rituals until industrial revolutions and hypersexualization took over. European history, cultures, practices, values are not even a significant component of the story I am telling. They are a part of our background. They shape our past and influence our present and our future, as do First Nations history, cultures, practices, and values. This is a story of when values align and how our dances of life and culture entwine. This story is one we all share. All of us who love country, all of us who want a better future, and even those who don't. We share values of happiness, love, and care, of identity, companionship, and expression, manifesting in every way, in every definition. In this story, we pause, we look, and we see life just like us. This story takes place on old country, on land by the Birrarung we settlers call Templestone. Place is beautiful here. Country is patient for you to arrive, and when we do, country sets the pace. A bend in the river frames Birrarung Park, as we call it today, but what would you call this special place? This special place has always been special. First Nations people have long used this place as an important meeting place. We use it like that today too, but we call it a park. Somehow our language makes park seem less important. We think of it as a thing. How big is the thing? Have you been to the thing? But country is not a thing. Country has always been. We settlers made up so many rules about this country thing that living together is hard. But you know what? We made up the rules, so we can change the rules. Country is affected by settler legislations and lots of settler buildings, but country gets the last laugh. Country knows sacred, for country is sacred. Did you know there are 11 planning overlays that legislate what can happen on this place? But the overlays don't tell us much about country. If we're not careful, we can fall for overlays illusions that mask danger as superficiality, dissonance, and separation. But one overlay, the cultural heritage sensitivity overlay, starts to keep the others in check. We have built many buildings and other things around this place. Streets, power lines, houses, gates, picnic tables, but there are not many within Birrarung Park. Sadly, what is there is getting old, and it is not aging as well as country. This story tells how paths and picnic house and bathhouse came to be. But before we hear about that, some settlers worked with the Wurundjeri people to take loving care of the Birrarung and country. On this important meeting place, it was decided to add a walking bridge across the Birrarung, put in some more paths, and welcome an old open place back. It hasn't happened yet, but this story is still in progress. I've told you now about legislation, overlays, and buildings, but of the most importance to all of us are the sacred features of this place. Sun paths, wind roses show us some. Gathering data from lots of settler sources is useful and helps us be precise, but nothing compares to dropping in for tea with country. This is where I went. I got to know country a little in this place on this day. I walked paths and saw some were leafy, compacted dirt, and others tarmac damaged by uprising tree roots. I saw a picnic house in melancholy, and bathhouse longing for better expression. I walked, and for a time I sat in different places. I saw beauty, joy, and sadness in present, past, and future. I took my photos and listened. Sun began to settle below trees, and air took to cooling for the night. I was grateful to country. As I took my leave, there was a whisper with no sound. Clear the way. Country and place here is strong. We are also. We are strong when we are tough, and we are strong when we are vulnerable. Any meeting place is a magnificent spot to care for each other and country. This meeting place already has clearings aplenty for any kind of meeting and facilities to prepare ourselves for them. This is an important meeting place and it needs our care. Paths are varied and love connecting, but paths need us to use them so they can be. At this place, some paths need clearing, some need tarmac replacing. What if we did that, section by section, illustrating our stories in tile and stone? Picnic house melancholy comes not from being unloved. Many a picnic and joyful meeting still occurs within and around. But picnic house form is a shadow of what it could be, agnostic in cultural identity without good reason. What if we restored the cracks and decay and used art and ornament to celebrate our connectedness? Bathhouse is the saddest of all here. Purpose-built without context, and although regularly cleaned and maintained, bathhouse in this form barely contemplates what it could have been. What if we removed this form and rebuilt bathhouse as part of our meeting, part of our country, and part of our love and life? Here is where this story pauses. You might think there's no resolution or not enough cliffhanger, and true enough. Or perhaps not enough technical information for architectural merit, too many ideas and whimsy. To that I say remember, this is a story in progress, and all architectures everywhere have profound intricacies for each and all of us.